Well, as expected, it has been quite a stuttery end game to the current cold spell, but it will feel considerably milder during the course of tomorrow and beyond. Thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday Hump Day edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Hope everybody is safe and well wherever you are. It has been a fairly decent cold spell for sure. Temperatures as low as minus 32 in parts of Switzerland during the course of the past week or so. We've seen temperatures as low as minus 18 at Munich Airport, which is considerably low for early winter, as low as minus 26 in parts of Bavaria. And Altnahara recorded, I believe, minus 11 point something. 11. It was below minus 11 anyway last night. And that actually marks the fourth out of fifth night below minus 10. So 4 out of 5 nights have achieved temperatures below minus 10, both at Altnahara and indeed Scotland. And depending on whether we get an early dip, especially over Eastern Highland, cloud cover is, of course, moving in. We are going to see a spell of heavy snowfall over the mid to high ground of possibly Northern England, but I think more so Scotland during the course of tonight. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one. But the warmer air is going to move in a series of frontal systems that move from west to east. We are going to see the warmer air replace the cold, and I'm sure for some of you anyway, that is going to be welcome news, of course. Interesting stuff going on actually at the moment. I will talk about the El Nino and a little update on that in just a second, but this is a tweet here by World Climate Service indicating that the Central, Eastern, and Northern Europe is doing very well for snow at this early in the winter, but Canada's snowpack is poor for the time of the year. This is modelled and a percentage compared to average. You notice here it's above average across the majority of Europe. That is a very significant snow cover, by the way, for early winter. Probably have to go back easily to 2010 for the last time we've seen that much snow cover across the continent for early December. You can see here the browns indicating a below average snowfall here. Got some above average across parts of the Rocky Mountains. You obviously have to tilt your head right over to see this properly. And parts of the upper Great Lakes into the northeast New England, for example, seeing a little bit above average. We do have a scattering of below average, interesting enough, across parts of Russia, which is quite interesting. Kazakhstan is not doing very well compared to average, but Mongolia is. Northeastern China is doing quite well. And another interesting one here with regards to El Nino, we'll get to that now actually, because I thought this was an interesting update. Be sure to follow World Climate Service if you don't already do so, because they do some very, very interesting tweets with regards to updates and what's going on with the climate drivers and other things as well. But they say that the November sea surface temperatures show a very interesting change in the tropical Pacific. Strong wind anomalies produced major warming east of the dateline, that's around 180 degrees west, and extending El Nino's warm SSTs significantly westward. So not eastward, but westward. So Nino region 3-4 is at +2 Celsius, but the Enso longitude index is now only 12th highest since 1950. So this is the sea surface temperature anomaly chart for the 91 to 2020 climatology. This is of the ERSST V5, and you can see here the current sea surface temperature profile. You notice here a couple of interesting things with regards to the Atlantic, and we'll look at that in just a second. But this is the 1 month change, and this really stands out actually. This is the 1 month change between October and November, and you notice we're actually slightly cooled in region 1.2, but we've warmed things up, as already said, just to the east of the dateline here and over region 3-4. That is going towards the MODOKI El Nino, folks, and the peaking of the El Nino being, pretty much at the end of autumn, early winter, could be significant. What's also potentially significant, and from a cold weather lover's perspective, is look at the cooling taking place between Newfoundland, Eastern Canada, and Ireland and the UK, as well as Biscay down towards Spain and Portugal as well. That is a decent cooling of the central North Atlantic here. We haven't really warmed things up much to the north, but we have warmed things up slightly over the central subtropical portion of the Atlantic. And this is the SST rank compared to the 1950 to 2022. And that is rather interesting how the warmest waters are now focused over the central portion of the North Atlantic here. So, intriguing stuff. Let me know in the comments section below, are we in a MODOKI El Nino or not? Snow cover, like I've already said, impressive for the time of the year. Probably have to go back to early December 2010 for the last time we've seen such a coverage of snow this early in the winter season. So this is the snow cover, and what happens is we slightly increase the snow cover across high elevations of the UK as we progress through the course of overnight tonight and through the first half of tomorrow. That is thanks to system one of several that will move across the UK over the next few days here. That will eventually shrink as we see the warmer air dig in. And you can see that here. If you look at the UK in particular, you can see that shrinking. But I also want to draw your attention, let's get back to the shrinkage that we see taking place over Europe. So a very significant snow cover really east of the Low Countries. We did have a decent snow even here a few days ago, but slightly milder air has now been moving in thanks to areas of low pressure moving across the southern half of the UK. So really South Wales, southern England, southern Ireland, we are now out of essentially the cold spell. It's generally to the north of England and Scotland where we still maintain this cold theme, but that's about the end in the next day or so. But watch this space. Look at what happens when you play through the animation, how the snow cover just peels back eastwards once again. And that's quite a dramatic change from what we have now. And that is indicative of Atlantic air moving in. It's going to come in waves, areas of low pressure that will transport that warmer ocean air across the continent. So system number one moves in through the course of tonight, bumps into that cold air. We see heavy snowfall breaking out over higher elevations, possibly even parts of the M8, but more so up towards the A9, A96, the A93. Places like this, we're going to see significant impacts from snow during the overnight and into tomorrow morning. You can see here a very deep centre of low pressure to the west of the UK and Ireland here. Got quite a squeeze in the isobar, so we're going to start to strengthen those southerly winds. We're going to have gale force winds, probably quite widely actually across the UK, and it's going to be a gradual warming process. We'll see it, by the way, initially at low levels, and there is going to be pockets of cold pooling where the colder, denser is kind of trapped within glens, valleys, etc., etc. Even the eastern portions of England, the Vale of York, mist fog patches lingering through the early portion of tonight, and then as that warmer air starts to mix down from higher elevations down towards the surface, we are going to see eventually that snow changing back to rain, even at 1,500 to 2,000 feet above sea level. So system frontal boundary number one moves through. Notice here that we've not got bona fide warmer, but it's certainly warmer air nonetheless here, enough to melt the snow cover. Then we've got a secondary feature that moves in during the course of Saturday. That brings in even milder air, and then we've got another system that moves in following that as well. All the while, we're starting to see the warmer air progress across Germany, into Poland, into Czech Republic, Slovakia, countries of Eastern Europe here. We're going to see the milder air progress eastwards and wipe that snow cover out. Some fairly warm air, 850 as you can see here, over southern Iberia into the western portion of the Med Basin as well. Current temperatures, this is overnight temperatures this morning. Very cold temperatures, especially across northeastern Russia. Now, there was one particular location here, and tell me this, let me know in the comments section below, is this Europe There's one river here that picked up a temperature of -41 this morning, and I believe that's the coldest temperature that we've seen this year so far, or to date so far. And I'm wondering, is it in Asia or is it in Europe? So there's a location here. There's a river that now I can't for the life of me find, and it's so low in it. But the temperature was into the -40s during the overnight last night here. Let's have a look and see what the current temperatures are. And let me know in the comments section below, is this location here Kazim River? I think that's the way you pronounce it. Is that in Russia? Not Russia. Is that in Europe or is it in Asia? I'm assuming it's in Europe, but I don't know if it's east of the Ural Mountains here. But that would be the coldest temperature to date so far anywhere in Europe, if that was the case, I believe. Look at the temperatures here in the parts of Finland. We've seen constant temperatures, -20s, low -30s here, even across the UK. You notice here the cold temperatures clinging on. Ireland, now out of the cold air, we've got temperatures close to +10 in parts of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland here. What we're going to see is this cold air continuing to get forced eastwards as that Atlantic air moves in over the next few days here. Current temperatures across the UK as of recording. I did see one comment saying that I'm chopping off the far south of England. I do apologise for that. It's not deliberate, but you know, I appreciate your feedback with regards to any kind of constructive criticism and whatnot. If you're not seeing your location particularly well, please let me know and I'll try and rectify that. But you can see here the milder air, 10 Celsius in the far southwest of England, holding on to -4.5 at Altnahara, -4 at Inverness Dalcross, that's at the airport, of course, -4 Kinloss, -2.7 at Loch Lisgarnock. Fog lingering here all day long. The warmest temperature, by the way, here at Marfogan Weather HQ was recorded just after midnight at -1.4. It bottomed out at -4.5 at 20 to 10 this morning, which is quite a late time to see a minimum temperature. And then the temperature has been holding at around -3 all afternoon. So it looks as if this could be the first ice day of the year so far here at this location. And but the warmer air is going to be mixing in during the course of tomorrow, so a big change coming up. So yeah, interesting stuff, of course. Let's have a look and see, and I'm trying to avoid saying of course all the time because I know it annoys some people that I repeat that word. Let's have a look and see what we're seeing with regards to snow. So this is off the GFS. There's that system then. It's spreading its frontal system in. As it bumps into the cold air, we've got high elevation snow. We could see some problems over the high routes of the A9. I'm going to be travelling down to Glasgow during the early evening, overnight tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of conditions that I experience. And very heavy precipitation moving in during the course of tomorrow. This frontal system will be quite active. Strong winds, gale force winds, heavy rainfall, sleety, snowy conditions over high ground, but that will be changing over to rain. Then that frontal system moves through, and then that system eventually weakens considerably as it moves across the UK. Then the next boundary moves in during the course of Saturday. Then another system moves in into the second half of the weekend, followed by another one. This is a 3, 4, and 5 phase of the Manjulian oscillation here right away. Here's your rainfall off the ACMWF now through Saturday the 16th of December. You can see here heavy rainfall, especially western areas, due to that flow coming in straight off the west. Looking at the GFS model for the same time frame, and we've got, again, plenty of rainfall. Look at the amount of precipitation over the Alpine region. And this is the rainfall anomaly upcoming 7 days. Plenty of wet weather to come. Northwestern Iberia, France, into the Low Countries, South Germany, and of course British Isles and Ireland also. Very wet conditions to come. We are going to look at when the upcoming Christmas to New Year period in coming days ahead also. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.